my beautiful people. Welcome back to another nighttime pouring episode in the garden. I'm so happy you guys are here. We just did a pour that you guys saw on Sunday, which was Aquamarine With Envy, which was inspired by a pour that my good friend Sarah Mack did with Lee and Jeremy Massey when we were all in Texas. And I really enjoyed that pour a lot. It was beautiful. While I was editing it though, I was kind of kicking myself because there were a few things that I found that were mistakes that I'm hoping to correct tonight. So let me show you my colors and we will get started. My base coat is Behr Interior Exterior Paint and Primer Plus in Swiss Coffee. And I have mixed this with Liquitex Gloss Medium, some Floetrol, squirt of GAC 800, and some water. And I have added about an ounce of DecoArt Americana Decor satin enamels to it in pure white as well. So this is very thin, not leaving a mound at all. It's pretty much just sinking right away. So I have a cup and a half of this. So that's one of the things I noticed is I had a little bit too much of my base coat on there. So that's one thing we're going to correct. The next color we're using, or the first color we're using, is DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in Obsidian. This is such a pretty color. All the paints are mixed with Liquitex Gloss Medium, a little bit of GAC 800, and Floetrol.
You need to do the trace farther back, or tip the cup more.
So this is just barely leaving a tiny, tiny mound before it sinks. Just slightly, slightly thicker than the base coat. Okay, I'm gonna put this back down here. Okay, so that's the Obsidian. The next one, I've changed up the color palette just a tiny bit. Instead of using the Payne's Gray and the Prussian Blue, I have ditched the Payne's Gray, and I still have the Prussian Blue, but I am now using Amsterdam Greenish Blue also. So this is this is one of my favorite colors. Actually, this is very reminiscent of Golden's Turquoise Phthalo, which I absolutely adore, but for a more economical price. So that's the Greenish Blue by Amsterdam. I'm still using my Pistachio from Arteza, Arteza's Pearl Pistachio. Just a tiny mound before it sinks. And then we have the Prussian Blue, which is a gorgeous, lovely, delicious color. One of my favorites, my Prussian passion. And my good blingy friend, my DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in 24 karat gold. And this one is slightly thicker than all the other ones because I want it to show up. I don't want just a sheen on the surface of the paint. And then I have added, instead of the aquamarine, which I love but is kind of thin, I took what was left of my aquamarine and I added Arteza's metallic cobalt blue to it, which is one of my other favorite colors. I really love this and I like what color it is now. So I took out the Payne's Gray, I added the Greenish Blue, and I changed the aquamarine. I added some metallic cobalt to it. So those are all the colors. Let me put these back and we're going to get started. This is an Arteza 36 by 48 inch canvas. It is not gallery wrapped. I have taped the back and put my push pins in. This one is 5/8 of an inch thick. So the gallery wrapped ones are about 1.5 inches deep. This is 5/8 of 1 inch. So it's thinner canvas. And there are pros and cons. The pros for using this thickness of canvas, obviously it's not as expensive. It's also not as heavy. It's pretty lightweight. And it's probably cheaper if you wanted to frame something this size to have it be a thinner depth. The cons for me, I don't know if you guys saw the last one, but when I was tilting it, there was like some definite twisting happening with the canvas because the support bars are not as thick and not as sturdy. So you're sacrificing that stability that the thicker gallery wrapped canvases give you for a lower price. So, but you know, you work with what your budget has and what your budget can do. So, and what's available to you. Like I couldn't actually find gallery wrapped canvases in the 36 by 48 size. For the Artist Loft, the biggest ones I found were 48 by 60s or 48 by 48s, but there is no 36 by 48. And I wanted this size. So let's lay down our base coat and then we're going to get started with our open cup. I will tell you one of the things that a couple of mistakes that I felt that I made. First of all, I had my open cups a little bit, they were spread out, and I liked that because it gave me the negative space in the final result. But because they were more on the edges rather than in the center, I ended up tilting off a lot of the color, which I didn't like and I was unhappy about, which is also the next mistake that I made. Like at one point I had this beautiful blue gradient on this side, and that corner was bare, and instead of using some of my base coat to put it on the on that bare spot, I actually ended up tilting, and I ended up tilting off all this beautiful blue stuff, which I was kicking myself for doing because I loved that part. So this time I have not only my base coat, but I also have my drips that I scraped off the table from last time I did this. And if I get into that situation where I have a bare corner, I'm going to use the base coat or the drips rather than tilt off the design that I like. So I also want to not have as much of a base coat on there as I did last time, because I felt like there was still a little bit too much paint on there. I didn't have any cracking because I had put GAC in there, but it took a while to dry, and the center was not as dry as I wanted. When I wanted to put it on the easel, for example, it still was not totally dry. So I'm going to tilt this out a little bit. We're not going to go over the edges right now. We're just going to spread this out a bit. And this is fairly thin, so it's moving pretty easy. And the other thing is I guess when I spread out my base coat initially on the last one, I didn't get very, very close to the edges, so that when I was tilting it, the paint was actually rolling over itself rather than sliding smoothly. So we're just stretching this out now to get it nice and thin. And I have sprayed the canvas with water before I started, because you do want it tight like a drum. I'm going to take some more of the base coat color and I'm going to put it right on this edge, just because I don't want to be fighting to cover corners. So one of the things that I always recommend to people who are taking classes from me is, if you can, film yourself pouring. Film the pour. You don't have to be on camera, but set up a tripod with your phone or a camera on there so that you can watch it after you're done to see what you've done. Because sometimes we do things and we don't even realize that we've done them. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of paint, and this time I'm also going to group the open cups a little bit closer together towards the center rather than over here and down there. So I'm going to start about here. I'm going to put a little bit of paint down. I'm going to take my ring. This is a ring, the top of a 7-ounce cup. I'm going to put it on that little puddle. And I'm just going to put a little bit around there to seal it in. And a tiny little bit in the center, just to give it something to move on. Okay. One of the other things that I want to do differently is I want to pour thicker layers of each individual color so I get more of that solid color. So we're going to actually start with the start with the Greenish Blue from Amsterdam. Kind of a thick puddle in there.
Your dad was watching the premiere today, and he was tripping on how the paint is flowing underneath the lid.
Yeah, it's a very cool thing. A little bit of gold. And then we're going to come in with let's come in with the Greenish Blue, or the metallic Cobalt, because that's really pretty. Now I'm going to put some Obsidian on there. Also, I had a lot of Obsidian last time, so I have less of it mixed up to limit myself. So one thing that I did that I really liked is when I poured the Obsidian, I either used the Payne's Gray or the Prussian Blue with it, and it deepened it and made it a beautiful color. So I'm going to add some Prussian right now. And see, look at that beautiful gradient that's coming out. Perfect. We're going to use some Pistachio. Okay. And I think I'm going to put one more layer of the Greenish Blue. And another layer of gold. And a layer of the metallic Cobalt. And another layer of Prussian. think that's probably good for that. I'm going to leave that ring there, and we're going to use another one, and I'm going to do one over here. I'm going to use some of my base coat to seal that out. And that's one of the things that helps the paint slide underneath. Okay. All right, let's start with a little bit of gold with this one. So again, in the last video, I told you guys I recommend that you use thicker layers of your colors and thinner layers of your gold, because otherwise the gold can take over. This is the metallic cobalt. I'm going to put some Prussian in there now. And some Obsidian. And we're going to do some Pistachio. And a little bit of gold. I'm actually going to twirl this and get it going this way a little bit. We're going to put some more cobalt on there, metallic cobalt blue, and another layer of pistachio. And I think one more layer of Prussian. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to twirl this. Oh, Baxter. Okay. I'm going to put that one down right there now. And seal this one off. Go around the edges. Okay. Let's put some pistachio at the bottom of this one. I'll go into the greenish blue. A little bit of gold. Some of that gorgeous metallic cobalt. Some Prussian blue. A little bit of the Obsidian. And go back to the cobalt. And some gold. Prussian blue. Pistachio. And some more metallic cobalt. Alright, that's probably enough paint. So now we're going to twirl this ring off, because this one is still here. Okay, that's one. Twirl this one off too. Okay. And now we're going to do some BAMs. So I want more BAMs than I had last time, because I love the way that that looked when we stretched it out. I'm just going to flick the paint.
Try not to hit the dog, please.
Try not to hit you. Too.
Puppy comes first, but yeah.
Puppy's way back over there. He's sleeping.
Yeah, but you're flinging that stuff.
Not that far. Alright, we're going to put some gold on there, because this is one of the things that I really liked was the gold BAMs that we had. They're beautiful. I think I want to do some in the greenish blue also. Okay. That looks pretty cool. All right.
Pretty impressed.
Yeah, I didn't even get off the canvas.
Didn't hit me, exactly. I'm only like right here.
All right. So let's tilt this out a little bit and see what happens. And this time, if I forget HOA, remind me that I need to put paint on the corners if I need it, rather than losing my design. All right, here we go. Let's see. Where's the weight of the paint? Okay. I'm gonna go over this way. All right, I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna take my drips from the last pour, which are this pretty bluish color, light sky blue, but this is gonna get tilted off. And I'm just gonna put a little bit right here on the corner, because this is gonna get tilted off. I'm not worried about it. So this is just a vehicle to help me keep our design, rather than losing cool stuff by tilting it off. So, all right, we're gonna go off that corner first. And we're gonna go over that edge and anchor it there. And come back and see, we didn't lose all of that stuff. We just went right over the edge. I'm gonna bring this back. So this is the whole secret and the whole key with these pearl pours and pearl type cells, is you tilt your paint and anchor it over the edge, and then you tilt it sharply back in the other direction, and it stretches out that top layer of paint and allows you to have your colors come up. Ooh, I lost the pin. Hang on. Where did it go? Right there. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this corner again, because I've just touched it, but that's okay. We're gonna finish going off this one first. Over that bottom. Okay. So let's go back the other way now. So I don't think I'm going to be buying these canvases anymore, but I do have 5 of them, so I am going to use them. And I just lost another pin. Okay, I'm going to tilt this downward and just let this top edge float down and open up, because that's really pretty, and that's what's going to give us a lot of cells.
Maybe you should fix that pin before any paint gets down there you have to touch.
That's a good idea. The weight of the paint's all over here, so we're going to let this keep going a little bit more, and we're going to go off that side. Anchor that. Because there is a lot of paint on here, and there's a lot of the base coat over there, I don't think I need to put more paint over here, because this is all going to float down and cover that bare corner. I can feel it dripping on my shoulder. As long as it doesn't get in my hair, I'm okay. We're gonna go over this last edge. looks pretty cool. Do you think there's a little too much? Should I take this white off at this point on these corners? Or does it look kind of neat?
No, it looks cool.
Definitely more color. No, I don't like that corner. I need to take some more off that corner. So where's the weight of the paint now? It's all conveniently going down to that corner anyway, which is perfect. Nice and slow. You don't want to leave too much paint on your canvas because then you won't get your pretty pearl cells and you risk it cracking. So we're getting the pearl cells up there because we're stretching the paint out. I'm going to go off that side a little bit more. That's good. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to go back the other way. That's another pin. Yep.
If you remember the next time we want to use one of these canvases, let me know and I'll use screws and stuff.
I'll just have you bang them in.
Hey, it's got probably the soft wood. These are not.
Yeah, it's hasn't got a lot to go into, you know, so. What do you think about that white corner? Should I try to get it off or does it sort of match with this one? Over here.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I just lost another pin. Wow. It's two.
Got some cups.
You're right. Actually, I don't mind that white corner because there is some BAMs going through there. So there's a lot more metallic cobalt in this one and a lot more color and a lot less negative space, which I'm actually okay with. Because I liked the other one, it was beautiful, but I felt like I was missing a lot of the color. And that color is here now, so that's good.
How'd you like to have to roll a marble through this thing?
I could. I'm not scared of marbles. But I like this so far. So I am going to wipe my hands off and then we're going to torch this. I'm just making a huge mess of myself. Okay. Well, that's alright, I'm washable. Alright. I like this a lot. That corner needs a little bit of paint on it. Okay. This corner needs a little bit. And we're starting to get some of our pearl cells popping up, so I don't want it tilted anymore. Let's give this a torch and see what happens. Okay, so at this point, I'm very happy with this side and I'm happy with this side, but I want more cells on that side. So I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to tilt it back down the opposite direction and stretch out this top edge a bit so that we can get some nifty cells over here too. And this is, again, you're stretching out the surface layer and allowing the paint underneath to come up as cells. So that looks pretty cool now. And we did stretch it out, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to get some cells there. So I will fix it. I'm actually going to put this up on Molly's paint stands when I go to let it dry and take the pins out and not worry about it very much. I love this side though. These colors are so pretty to me. That metallic cobalt is gorgeous. The greenish blue from Amsterdam is an amazing color. I really like the obsidian. I kind of like that there's like this band of obsidian going through the middle. I love all the cells that are coming up on that edge. There's gold that's visible, but not too much gold. Still see some of those BAMs. There's still some white in there. Okay, this is cool. I like it. All right, should we torch it one more time, you think, or we're good? I think that's pretty cool. So definitely not as much negative space as the last one, but more color. And I don't know if you guys can see, like right over there on the corner HOA and the obsidian, there's some of that metallic cobalt and white coming through. And like in here, this veining. And this will continue to sell because the last one continued to sell up. It's already starting down there. So I'm happy with it. I'm gonna call this one done. What do you think, HOA? Does it need anything else, or is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't need anything.
Okay, so this is awesome. I will show you guys when this is dry. We'll be right back.
Beauty.
Okay, so this is a few days later and it is totally dry. This was our 36 by 48 open cup pour on the big huge canvas. I love these colors. These are really, really beautiful. I'm very happy that we put the cobalt blue in there, the metallic cobalt, because I feel like it brightened it up and gave the color a lot more depth. Really, really pretty. And the obsidian is just really beautiful, especially in this light. I think you guys can see it shining and blinging. Very, very cool stuff. This big swath of obsidian over here with the gold lacing through it. Just beautiful. Gail is trying to take the painting, but I have it wired. I think this is my favorite part in here. I love that little bit where there's that dark Prussian blue and the metallic cobalt with the gold. Very, very pretty. It keeps blinking at me in the sunlight. Got some beautiful pearl cells along the bottom. There's a little manta ray swimming in the ocean. Beautiful pearl cells. I love this corner. So pretty. This looks really cool. I love these colors. This was the greenish blue from Amsterdam and the Prussian blue from Golden's, metallic cobalt. That Behr paint and primer plus in Swiss coffee, the 24 karat gold, and the obsidian. Both of those from DecoArt, Americana, Decor Metallics. I like it. I'm very excited about this one. I think I'm going to call this one Obsidian Destiny, just because I like the way that it sounds, and I think it's a beautiful piece. So I'd like to know if you guys think that I corrected some of the issues that I mentioned in the beginning of this one about the other pour, and let me know how you think I did. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Oh, I have some exciting news. You guys are going to hear about it next week, probably on Tuesday, but something amazing is about to happen, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So we'll see you Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.